The strategy of the Immigrant Movement Project is to open the door to things you already know. So by you coming into something you already know, you feel that you understand what's going on, and then after walk you towards other places you don't know. For me, the most important moment for an art piece is when people are not sure if it's art or not. And this is the most, for me, productive moment. I am an artist, and I need to defend that because I'm going beyond art, because I'm trying to do things that are not being seen as art. As a political artist, I always want my work to have real consequences. The major goal of Immigrant Movement at the beginning was to rethink the political representation of immigrants. Why? Because once you become an immigrant, the first thing that is taken from you is the opportunity to talk about politics and to talk about yourself as a political being. I feel that I needed to do an immigrant movement in the United States because when you say, where do you want to live to anybody in the world, they say United States. The people in immigrant movement are using art to empower themselves and to change as people and to change as human beings. Bueno, nada, darles la bienvenida a este nuevo encuentro de fin de ciclo de acá de Immigrant Movement y decirles que estamos muy contentos con todos los profesores, la gente que viene aquí y que ha hecho de Immigrant Movement su casa. Immigrant Movement has been very different from other projects. For all the pieces, I have opened different doors. The whole idea of the series of Tattling Whisper came out of uncomfortable feeling I had with the news. The fact that as viewers of the news, we are in a way anesthetized by some of the issues. I had other series, but the two pieces that survive are Tattling Whisper 5 and Tattling Whisper 6. And in the first one, I wanted to bring the mounted police and ask them to do their normal job, but instead of doing it with protesters, doing it with people in the museum.
Are these your children? Could they stand with Dad or with Mum? That's it, so they're nice and close. That's lovely, well done. Okay, the horse is now going to walk forward. You can just stand aside, please. That's lovely, thank you very much. Just wait there.
I always felt it was too easy to look at the news of something happening somewhere else and just zip and change the channel. And I wanted people to understand when you have the police coming with a horse towards you and telling you, go there, how that feels. So I think it was very interesting when you stage repression, knowing that what you're doing actually is protecting people. The second one, Tattling Whisper number 6, is a piece where I use all the theatrics, the spectacle of a political event in Cuba, which is mainly a podium and a very simple moment of the expectation of a speech. And also it was interesting that at that point, Fidel had disappeared from the news, but it's somebody that we felt the emptiness of the leadership. Even if the brother has came in, he had not done enough changes yet or enough presence. So the piece work in two ways. It can be a monument to the absence of a leader, or if people intervene, it can be actually a performance piece where they exercise their right to say things. You have the podium, the microphones, and you have two people dressed with military outfits. Once everybody was there, we gave 200 disposable cameras, and we announced that anybody can say whatever they wanted for 1 minute.
Millones de niños muriendo de hambre, ninguno cubano.
Necesitamos un podio para decir lo que nos carcome el alma.
20 años. Primera vez que me siento tan libre.
After the 1 minute passed, whatever was happening, they removed the person.
O que é mais importante falar?
That piece I like a lot, in part because for the first time, I was able to freeze power. It was really satisfying to not having anybody after being like incarcerated, or, you know, there is always some repercussion, they talk to me, whatever, but I feel like it was well done, you know, in the sense of like very controlled. My childhood was a little different from other Cuban kids because my father was a diplomat, so I was traveling around the world when in Cuba I was not permitted to travel. Because my parents represented the country, I was witnessing all this propaganda. And when I was 12, everything changed because my parents divorced, and I started living the reality of Cuba. I think once I had a normal life in the Cuban reality, I started seeing the distance between the promises and the accomplishment. I still believe in a dream. And as an artist, I feel that everything I've been trying to do is trying to kind of force or redirect reality towards the dream. But with the knowledge that propaganda is different than reality, and trying to, in a way, push people to be realistic about the goal and about the political means instead of presenting us with just a dream. I am committed to be a Cuban. I'm committed to be in Cuba and to work in Cuba. When I do work about Cuba, I do it in Cuba because this is whom I want to talk to about those issues. Displacement. It was a piece that was done originally the day of Fidel's birthday. I decided to do this piece where I dress as an Nkisi Conde, which is a figure from Congo. People can ask for something, and each nail is one wish, but you have to give something back. Like, okay, if you give me this, I will do this for you. I will bring flowers or cut my hair or whatever. If you don't give back the promise to the Nkisi, it will go after you, you know, and punish you severely. So that's why people are afraid of it. So what happened is, like, I dressed like that, and I was as a sculpture in the gallery, and then I woke up and went to the streets. And it was beautiful because it was the first time I went out to the street as a performer. And I was a little nervous because I was thinking people might be, what the hell is this? Like, it's not carnival time, you know? The piece was about all the things that were promised during the revolution that were not being fulfilled, and they were still waiting for them. At one point, a policeman came and said, "What's going on?" Because we're not supposed to do that in the street that day, wherever, for that matter. But and then a kid was saying, "No, it's an artwork," because he was hearing something, people talking. There were people from the arts as well. And the policeman was quiet. I couldn't see it, but I could hear he was in the way. He was quiet, and I said, Okay, proceed. And that was the exact moment when I realized that art can go places other people cannot go.
Ok, tenemos también la reunión para el comité de selección de arte útil.
Sí.
Que lo presentáramos
¿Algo así?
Algo así está mejor, sí, mucho mejor. Y que lo presentáramos tú y yo, como para que tú también me
Ok.
reintrodujeras otra vez y habláramos del
Yo te voy a
comité.
introducir y tú lo explicas.
Sí,
Perfecto.
bueno.
¿Y qué vas a explicar?
Solo invitarlos
Y
al comité
vamos
de
a
arte
decirle que
útil.
vamos a tener una residencia a unos artistas, que también son
Exacto.
inmigrantes,
Exacto.
¿no? Para que tengan como una relación.
Sí,
Y que va a asesorar arte
Entonces,
útil.
sí, exacto. Entonces que la idea es que va a ser una reunión, vamos a tener café, panquecitos, va a ser muy rico.
Comprando la audiencia.
No, la idea es que sea algo rico, es que tampoco tiene que ser all business. It's like
I know,
fun
I know.
business, Tania.
I know, I have to learn that part.
And remember you have those little wood chips, Brendan, so you have to put a lot of pressure.
I see the role of the artist as somebody that can propose things, whether that be creating an environment for something to happen, or will that be giving the tools to people to do certain activities on their own. And that's the role I think we have now, showing people this is what we can do, these are the tools, take it. The Van Abbe Museum invited me to do a solo show. And after thinking, I realized that it was the best place to bring Arte Útil to a museum and use the opportunity to be in a museum to do multiple things. What is the use of a museum in the 21st century? And challenge also the idea of a spectatorship. How can you eliminate a spectator from a museum? All of these ideas came together, and then I decided to create what I call the Museum of Arte Útil. We have so much to cover. It was like impossible. So we decided to create a focus on the idea of the archive.
When Tanya came up with this idea of making a museum of art utile, it immediately brought up the question, what do museums do? Do they make history? Do they brand a movement? Are they the authoritative voice that says, this is minimalism, this is performance art, this is art utile? So we thought, okay, how would we do that? How would we gather together this archive?
The fact that we call it Arte Útil, the intention was to be in Spanish. The word útil in Spanish has two connotations, whether in English is only one. The two connotations are the benefit you can get out of something, something that can be useful to you. Útil is also a tool. Un útil de trabajo is a tool, a working tool.
You saw that facade outside, and this wall cuts through all of the spaces. It seemed necessary to us to break with the pattern of the white cube. It's totally a theatrical device. Contradiction number one in this show, because we kind of really try to avoid metaphor symbols in our selection of works. We tried to think about a practice of art history that is not about the metaphor. It's rather about generating a kind of engagement that needs a user and an initiator.
To do this project was a team effort. I wanted the project to grow naturally. I didn't want to come and impose an idea. For me, it was very important from the beginning as an artist. I should not be the author of the project, but the initiator, which is one of the categories we use about Arte Útil.
We had Laurie Jo Reynolds on a residency here with her cat, contained in the tent most of the time. She is an extraordinary artist who campaigned for 10 years to close down a high-security Supermax prison in the States. Her work has been archived over the last 6 weeks here in the museum. She just left yesterday. The biggest project here is the Honest Shop. This shop works in a really successful way in Britain. The shop has nobody running it except for the participants. Anybody who wants to contribute to the shop, there's a series of rules. They have to be amateur creative people, so they can't be professional artists or professional designers. Things that you feel that are kind of creative and that you do as an amateur hobby that you would like to sell.
I'm very happy that an immigrant movement has happened and is working very nicely. I think the culture of the place have been established, the principles of the project have been established.
Cuando hacemos este ejercicio, nuestro sistema circulatorio se va activando. Al activarse el sistema circulatorio, nosotros vamos activando todo el cuerpo.
Once we gave the project to the community, the project doesn't need me, which I'm very happy with, because I think part of the homework that social engaged art has to have to do is try to rethink the way in which the project survive beyond the artist's presence.
Ahora vamos a subir. Vamos a doblar las manos hacia arriba. Nos ayuda a energizarnos. Este ejercicio, al mismo tiempo, despega todas las vísceras. El hígado, el estómago, el intestino. Ellos están haciendo su zumba en este momento.
I don't see social engaged art being preserved by 3 photos and a video in a museum. I see real good social engaged art and political art live beyond the life that the artist has given it by being taken by other people who are reproducing the models, changing those models, being inspired by that. The art that we should be doing today, the 21st century, is art that is not for the museum, it's art for the street and people's life.
To learn more about art in the 21st century and its educational resources, please visit us online at pbs.org/art21. Art in the 21st Century is available on DVD. To order, visit shoppbs.org or call 1-800-PLAY-PBS.